Okay. My name is Andy Shu, and I work with Minmay Hu. And specifically, one of the things that I do is I help to organize a virtual community to help researchers using GPU technologies. And the original idea from this actually came from a meeting in this room with some University of Illinois professors, and they were saying, you know, CUDA Zone is great, but it's very marketing, it's not very research oriented. We want a website that really deals with what our needs are. And NVIDIA loved that idea. They actually came up with a great idea, and GPUcomputing.net was born. Now, if you were here for last year's summer school, there was an earlier iteration, but this is the final version. Now, I have a beautiful picture here of a cliff. And there's an idea that I want to convey here, and that is there's a lot of information that has been conveyed during the week. There's a lot of information probably that still needs to be learned as you try to optimize your code. So you're probably standing up at the top of the cliff, maybe looking down, possibly a little scared. What's my next step going to be? Maybe you're scaling the side of the cliff. So what are the resources that are available so you don't fall flat on your face? And that's where GPUcomputing.net comes in. We are a research and development community site dedicated to fostering collaborations and interdisciplinary work on the various disciplines that benefit from GPU computing. Now, the next few slides, I'm going to give you just some real quick statistics so you can see how busy we are. Then we're going to jump right into the web page itself. But this slide is the web page hits that GPUcomputing.net has been receiving. We started the week of supercomputing, so that would have been November of 2009. And as you can see, as of the end of June, we were right at 600,000 hits. And the only explanation I can have is a lot of people took vacations because we dropped significantly, but we plan to be back up again. The next one's kind of an interesting slide. This is a slide showing the content. One of the things that we do is that we have some undergraduate students that go out and look for the latest papers on GPU computing. Now, you can't read the details on the right, but those are actually the different communities that we have set, and it shows how many nodes we have in each community. But the real gist I'm trying to get at is that we are intent on maintaining the site for GPU research resources. One point I want to make here, especially since two of the students that go out and grab the papers are here today. I want to thank Caleb and Tony that are sitting back here. But I've highlighted a little bit of a red section here, and this kind of makes me laugh. The realities of GPUcomputing.net. They're run by students, right? So you can see, you know, we're building up the content, then it looks like all of a sudden we just bottomed out. There's no increase whatsoever for 3 weeks in a row, basically the same level. And after that, we skyrocket. Guess what was happening in those 3 weeks? Finals. That's exactly right. This is the reality of it. And then summer break. And so all of a sudden we have time. And then my last graph is membership. The main thing I want to show you here is look at our total membership. We're about 1,100 members, but yet we're getting 500, 600,000 hits a week. What that means is that 98% of our traffic is anonymous. People are coming, they're searching for papers, they're getting their papers. Next thing we need to do is we need to work on participation. And that brings me to my next slide. The GPUcomputing.net is broken up by domain, and I've listed the domains that we currently have. Want to emphasize right now that if you see a domain, if you have a domain in mind that's not up there, you would be interested in giving some organization, we would love to create a new domain. And as an example, Fernanda, can you raise your hand? Fernanda here is at UIUC. She saw me first couple days, and she goes, Andy Shu, I get a whole bunch of emails from you all week long, all the papers that are being added to GPUcomputing.net, and she asked if we could add a new community, GPU development help. Development help. And so we added it. It's the last one that's been added. And my point, Oh, it says physically based animation. That's not true. I think that there is a physically based animation. Oh, I highlighted the wrong one. Darn it. The red is important, it's just not in the right place. My point here, despite the fact the slide is completely incorrect, my point here is that what Fernanda did is exactly what we want people to do. Jump in and say, look, we need a community on X. And believe it or not, you give me 5 minutes and that community will exist. We would love for you to participate if you want to give leadership. Maybe leadership isn't quite what you're interested in, but you want to jump into a forum. You want to begin some discussions. We want to encourage your participation and involvement. And apologize about that mistake on the slide. And the other way that we have divided the domains or the communities is also by region. We've had several requests from members who say, I'd like to know what's going on in Australia, anything GPU related. And then we have somebody who steps forward to give some leadership to that. So that's another way that we organize. Okay, so what I want to do right now is let's just jump to the web page itself. That's where the exciting stuff is anyway, right? And there are a couple of things that I want to emphasize here. First thing is, believe it or not, I want to start with the announcements, the site announcements. And the reason is that one of the resources that is available, of course, is NVIDIA. NVIDIA has wonderful resources. We talked about CUDA Zone, researchers not feeling like it's exactly where they fit, but yet the resources there are exceptional. You need to, if you're not familiar with CUDA Zone, you definitely should be familiar. The first two happen to do with, first two announcements. The first one is this week-long seminar, and following this is a workshop on molecular modeling, and there are several participants involved that will be continuing there. But the main thing I want to emphasize is the GPU Technology Conference, GTC, another exceptional resource. You know what's interesting about this conference? Of course, we know NVIDIA's past. They weren't in high-performance computing. They were in video, imaging, and processing. And they held a conference for all of the people interested in how to program their card for video games, for whatever. That is now expanded. Now we have researchers that are coming. They still have the video side, but now we have the researchers coming. We have the high-performance computing side. It's quite an event. Would highly recommend that you look at that if it's possible for you to attend. Even if not, their resources are available afterwards. So another great resource to mention. Another resource, now I need to log in order for you to see this resource. And that is, now the only reason I'm logging in, anybody can get to this, it's just I have a quick link to it. I want to go to GPU Computing Research Forum. And this is a brand new forum that we're starting. And I just wanted to quickly be able to jump to the page. Oh. There we go. Now, the page is basically empty. That is because this forum begins September 1st and will be held the first and third Wednesdays of every week. Actually, the time is not correct. We need to adjust that. I apologize. This is a global forum, and 12 to 3 Central Time does not work globally, so we're going to move that earlier, and I'm glad I noticed that because we will get that adjusted. My main point I want to make to you is this, that we would love for you to participate. The idea for this came from, for the past year and a half, we've had a forum here at the University of Illinois with professors from across domains meeting every other week. The forum is a time for them to talk about where the current state of their research is. It's not necessarily to say, I'm finished, look how wonderful it is. It can be a time to say, I'm stuck. I need higher performance, I'm not getting it, or I don't know how to accomplish this, and it's a time for experts here on site, as well as we've had people that have joined us from around the world to help answer questions. That's where the idea came from. That's going to continue on a global level. So we would encourage you to participate. Now, in order to participate, it's free, but there's one thing that you have to do. In order for us to be able to communicate with you, to let you know what's going on, you need to sign up for membership in gpucomputing.net and sign up for this community. That's the critical part, because then you'll automatically be put on our mailing list, and we will let you know about the details, so on and so forth. One more thing to mention here. This is a place where you can participate as well. Would you be interested in taking one of our slots for GPU Computing, the research forum? If you're interested, please feel free to contact me. And it's actually, you can contact me at ashu@gpucomputing.net or ashu@illinois.edu, either way. But we would love to have you speak. We will be sending out an email message to you after this, reminding you of these details so you don't have to remember. But that is an additional resource I want to mention. Okay? And then... basically, I'm finished with the sales talk. Want to let you know that if you register, it's free. You do not have to use this code. But what this code does is, if you register with an email address that doesn't end in edu, I have to approve you, and that can take 24 hours. But if you want instant approval, use this code. Otherwise, I'll get back with you soon. Now, how long do I have, Winmay? Because there's one more thing. A few more minutes. Okay. Okay. So I guess let me stop there for just a second and see if there are any questions. This is not a technical talk. This is a resource talk. But are there any questions about this resource, first of all? Okay, I'm going to continue. You interrupt me if you have one. So now I'm going to turn the tables a little bit. The entire idea, the whole
quick question
idea,
from Ohio.
Okay, go ahead, Ohio.
I was just wondering, have you thought about, for the different communities, there seems to be a little bit of overlap with some of them. I was wondering if there was any thought about like making it hierarchical or tags or some other way of dealing with those kind of overlap issues.
You know what, actually, I'm glad you asked that question, because I need to give an explanation for why we organized it and how we can deal with your question, because it's a very good question. The idea originally for organizing it by domain was so that a researcher in a specific domain can come in, feel very comfortable with the topics which are being discussed. These are people using GPUs within their domain. But as a member of gpucomputing.net, when you well, first of all, you can join any community, and when you join, that means that you're going to find out about what's going on. Whether you join or not, you can participate in any conversation in any community. If a search is done, it is done community-wide, or across communities. So you make a very good point. We have actually just improved our search function to try and help with the taxonomy, with the organization a little bit more across domains. But I think the original organization seems to be working. But I will say this, and this is an important point. What I wanted to do was to turn the tables and say, how can we improve? So if there's something specific you can think of that we need to do to improve so that you can find information and not have to go within a specific domain, perhaps the search function isn't working as well as it needs to, then that's the kind of feedback we need to know, because we want this to work for you in all cases. It's a great question, though. Was I able to answer it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Okay, but now that does bring me to my last point, which is I do want to turn the tables and say, is there a resource that's not available right now that researchers really feel like they need? Is there something that we need to be doing, either within gpucomputing.net? Maybe it's not web page related at all. whatever it is we're interested in, whether we're able to do it or not, we'll pass it on to NVIDIA for sure, but we're here to support you. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Once again, it's aschuh, ASCHUH, @gpucomputing.net, and once again, we will send an email afterwards.